Hi, it's Tara Bianca, owner of Be Light Transformative Therapy. And today I want to talk about some of the differences between mouth breathing and nasal breathing, and how those differences can dramatically impact your ability to manage stress and your overall health. Let's jump in. There is a common saying that your nose is for breathing and your mouth is for eating. Can you breathe through your mouth? Yeah, but it is meant to merely be a backup system for breathing. Neurologically speaking, when you primarily breathe through your mouth, it sends a signal of distress to your brain, which activates more of a sympathetic or stress response in your body. Mouth breathing tends to be associated with shallow, rapid, upper chest breathing. That type of breath pattern further perpetuates the perception of stress and even low-grade anxiety in your body. What are some of the long-term health implications of chronic mouth breathing? Number 1, facial distortions. The face tends to narrow and elongate, the oral cavity shrinks, the jaw tends to retract, which can lead to crooked and overcrowded teeth, as well as narrower airways and smaller sinuses. In addition, the cheeks tend to sink and the eyes can look tired or droopy. Number 2, a continual stress response. I mentioned this earlier, but mouth breathing is typically associated with fast breathing and overbreathing, meaning taking too many breaths per minute. This can keep you stuck in a constant low-grade stress response. Some of the symptoms of being stuck in sympathetic dominance, as we refer to that low-grade stress response, are anxiety, muscle pain, poor quality sleep, poor digestion, weight gain, and a compromised immune system. Number 3, inefficient use and distribution of oxygen. Chronic mouth breathers tend to not get enough air into the lowest lobes of their lungs, greatly affecting gas exchange. And they tend to blow off too much CO2, impacting how much oxygen actually reaches their tissues, and often causing fatigue and impaired athletic performance, or just life performance in general. Number 4, an increased risk of infection. Your mouth lacks a filtration system, so chronic mouth breathers are more susceptible to microbial invasions, which can lead to a systemic illness, or it can negatively affect the microflora of your mouth, leading to a higher incidence of tooth decay, cavities, gum disease, and bad breath. Number 5, vasoconstriction. Mouth breathing tends to lead to greater vasoconstriction, or the narrowing of blood vessels. This can lead to increased blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, and it can also exacerbate asthmatic symptoms. Number 6, loss of nitric oxide. Chronic mouth breathers lose the benefits of endogenous nitric oxide, which gets produced inside the nasal cavity and within the paranasal sinuses. Some of the benefits of nitric oxide that get lost are cardiovascular health and immune support. Number 7, dehydration. Chronic mouth breathers tend to lose a lot more moisture, which can lead to symptoms of mild dehydration, such as headaches, fatigue, and/or dizziness. Number 8, postural distortions. The facial distortions that I mentioned earlier can lead to other spinal distortions over time, leading to potential musculoskeletal, neurological, and/or biomechanical issues, including pain and faulty movement patterns. Number 9, increased chance of sleep apnea. Mouth breathers are prone to sleep with their mouths open, increasing their chances of snoring and sleep apnea. This can put stress on the cardiovascular system and also cause symptoms of poor quality sleep, including fatigue, mental chatter, poor concentration, a depressed immune response, and an increased perception of pain and anxiety. And then finally, number 10, weight gain. The low-grade stress response that many mouth breathers experience can lead to an increased appetite and/or emotional eating, as well as elevated blood sugar levels and fat mobilization, making it challenging to lose weight. Phew, that was quite a list, I know. I always like to end my doom and gloom talk about mouth breathing with some words of hope. If you are a chronic mouth breather, then yes, it will benefit your health and your overall well-being so much if you can retrain yourself to breathe through your nose. But if you are not a chronic mouth breather, I don't want you to get totally neurotic about trying to keep your mouth closed at all times. The fact is, humans are social animals. We like to talk, laugh, communicate, sing, eat. Sometimes we have to get dental work. Sometimes we go swimming. There are even some specific breath techniques which may occasionally call for some mouth breathing. The point is, a little air influx through the mouth is not going to kill you. It is important to try to maintain nasal breathing as much as possible for optimal health and longevity. But sometimes you may need to use your mouth, and that's okay. Nasal breathing more naturally supports diaphragmatic breathing. So there's a strong physiological connection between your primary organ of respiration, your nose, and your primary muscle of respiration, your diaphragm. This partnership between the nose and the diaphragm encourages parasympathetic activation or a relaxation response in your body. So this combination of nasal breathing and diaphragmatic breathing can very quickly help you to downregulate your stress response and bring you into rest and digest mode. Number 1, parasympathetic dominance. The relaxed state that I just mentioned is sometimes referred to as parasympathetic dominance. And some of the benefits that come from that state of being are a sense of inner calm, a clear head, good digestion, good quality sleep, a healthy weight, and a strong immune system. Number 2, purification and defense. Your nose helps to warm, humidify, and purify the incoming air of contaminants and airborne pathogens, and so it acts as the first line of defense for your immune system. Number 3, efficient use of oxygen. Your nose offers some resistance to the incoming air, which actually allows you to take in more oxygen than you can through mouth breathing. Also, because nasal breathing tends to activate the lowest lobes of the lungs, it allows for better gas exchange. And the slower respiratory rate associated with nasal breathing also allows for more oxygen to actually be taken up by your tissues. And number 4, nitric oxide. Nasal breathing is responsible for releasing a huge amount of endogenous nitric oxide into your system, which has a number of heart health and immune supporting benefits. Why is it so hard for some of us to breathe through our noses? In all fairness, there are a few evolutionary factors contributing to this issue. Number 1, skull evolution. Humans have evolved to have huge brains, which unfortunately took real estate from the rest of our faces. The result was a shrinking of our sinuses and a narrowing of our airways, making it challenging to breathe easily through our noses. Number 2, processed food. The influx of processed food into our diet really altered our biochemistry. Processed food is incredibly acidic, causing the blood pH to drop, which normally leads to overbreathing or hyperventilation and often to mouth breathing. Number 3, lack of chewing. Because processed food, or even cooked food in general, does not require that much chewing, we lost bone mass in our faces, bone mass that would even support wider airways and larger sinuses in the first place. Number 4, air pollution and allergens. There's a lot of pollution and airborne irritants to contend with, which can cause a buildup of mucus and inflammation of the nasal cavity. And then number 5, lack of breastfeeding. A number of us were not breastfed, but that sucking is such an essential aspect of our growth and development. It helps to shape good oral posture, positioning the tongue properly in the mouth, spreading the hard palate, and positioning the jaw so as to support the sinuses, allow the teeth to grow in straight, and also allow for open airways. All of these factors and more have led to an epidemic of chronic sinus issues, allergies, asthma, forced mouth breathing, and a tendency to breathe too much. But all is not lost. Everything is practicable. With some guidance and some diligence on your part, you can retrain your nose and reap the amazing benefits of nasal breathing that I discussed in today's video. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more videos about nasal anatomy and specific breath practices, then please subscribe to my channel. I release one new video every Tuesday. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.